These 3 books will put you ahead of 99% of people if you read them and if you apply even a fraction of what they teach you. Let me go ahead and dive in onto what these books are and what they teach, some of the key concepts that I want you to implement so that you can be wealthy, happy, successful, and thrive. Let's dive in. And if you're new here, my name's Elizabeth. I'm a teacher outside the Washington, D.C. area. I am going to be a millionaire in my young 30s. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm happy, healthy, thriving, and I want to share these lessons with you so that you can be happy, healthy, wealthy, and at peace as well. And if you want more videos on mastering your money, your mindset, your habits, and your emotions along the way to create a life you love, feel free to click subscribe. All right, first up is habits. This is High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. He coaches millionaires and even a couple of billionaires. And I want you to have the core habits because your habits create your life. There is a book by James Clear, Atomic Habits, and it took the world by storm. It has sold millions and millions of copies, but that's the basics. If you want to start there, that's great, and that will help you. But if you want to be a high performer, and if you want to get to the next level, you have to do what high performers do. In High Performance Habits, Brendon talks about the 6 key habits of high performers that they all have and what they work on. You need to have clarity, generate energy, raise necessity, increase productivity, develop influence, and demonstrate courage. If you have these 6 traits and you are constantly working on improving them, then you will be successful. Your habits, what you do, your actions each day creates your life and your outcomes. So if you aren't happy with where you are and maybe you don't feel like you're in that 1% or 10% or even 20%, look at what you're doing or not doing. The best people, they get clear, they seek clarity on their goals, on their desires, on what's wrong in their life, and they figure out a plan to be clear on what they need to do to get the outcomes they want. If they want to be healthy, they know what they need to do, and then they have a plan and a system to implement it. So clarity breeds success. Energy is essential because how many of you are like, I'm going to go crush these goals, I'm going to do these things, and then you have no energy, or you're working on things and you need to go take a nap. You're like, oh, I'm so drained. That's not going to help you be a high performer. Dealing with the emotions that come up. You're like, oh, I have this day that I can work on something, and then all this stuff happens and you feel drained or stressed or out of control. How's that going to help you perform well? It's not. And so generating energy to create the results you want and being strategic with where you place your activities that need to get done. Like Brian Tracy talks about, eating that frog first, doing the hardest things first, because then once you have the hard things done, the other things are easier to do. And if something comes up, you still have the energy to do that, but you already used your energy on what really mattered most. So there's a ton of great tips on energy and all of these things in Brendon's book. Definitely check it out. He talks about raising necessity. You have to raise the desire for it, not just the desire, but the need to get it, right? And so if you had your child that was in danger and you needed to figure out, like you had to figure out how to make $10,000 to rescue them or help them or whatever it was, you'd figure it out. Because the necessity is raised. And so obviously, hopefully your child is okay, but how can you raise that necessity to get there, to get that sale, to build the wealth, to build your health, to change your habits? How can you raise that necessity that's going to raise your results? Productivity. You have to be productive. You have to get stuff done. Magical lives and happiness and peace and all the good stuff doesn't just happen magically or automatically. You have to be productive. The wealthiest, the most successful, and the happiest people, they have a system. They are rocking and rolling. They have it all scheduled out. They're very specific and protective and intentional with their time. Be productive and be intentional with your time. High performers develop influence. They develop influence where they can impact, support, serve, and help people. You're not going to be a high performer if you're just on the side and in the sidelines and you're not helping someone. How are you providing value? How are you giving? How are you serving, motivating, leading? That is what a high value person and a high performer does. And that's going to help you to get above because you're bringing everybody else up too, right? It's not about you standing on this mountain being better than everybody. It's not that. It's you getting good enough so that you can help other people's get up and other people get up to that level too, or even higher than you. Demonstrate courage. The most elite people have to demonstrate courage. You're going to face hard decisions. There's going to be things, and when people aren't happy with you, but you have to stand your ground and say, no, this is what is right. I know this can be tricky sometimes, especially if you're a people pleaser or you're worried about the dynamics or the relationships that are involved. But you got to get to that place. You got to get to that place. And so Brendon's book talks a lot about this. Please check it out. It will help you so much and help you get ahead. Second, you have to read The Millionaire Fastlane. This might not be the path for you, and maybe you're more like an I will teach you to be rich person, and you just want to invest some money in a Roth IRA and just be smart with your money, and you love your job, and that's cool. If you want to do that, I have videos on that, and that is totally fine. Please do that. This path is not for everyone, but this will get you ahead of 99% of people if you follow the Millionaire Fastlane. I'm obsessed with this book. It talks about the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. Now, the sidewalk, they're people who don't even care about finances. The slow lane is people who care, but you're not going to be a millionaire until you're 30 more, 40 more, 50 years. It takes time to grow wealth and for investments and stocks to get rolling and compounding. Or you can join the fast lane and you can create wealth and millions of dollars in 10 years or less. And so there's a list of fast lane businesses. Typically, you have to create a product, a service, or something. I'll put a list here of what you can do. There is a ton of information on how to specifically pick your business, your product, your service. One really key thing that impacted me was the Law of Effection. And so why these businesses work is because it impacts or affects millions of people. That's why someone like Patrick Mahomes, even though he's an employee, he can make $45-50 million a year because he's impacting millions of people. That's why certain YouTubers who have millions of subscribers like Ali Abdaal, he's impacting millions of people and he is technically teaching, right? But he's not in a classroom where there's 20 something people. It doesn't mean he's more valuable because we need good teachers in the classroom impacting people, but there's a reason why they can make more money. It's because they're impacting more people. And so I actually have a full review on the Millionaire Fastlane and talk about the sense framework to figure out if it is a good business for you. Tons of great information in this book. I'm obsessed. I've highlighted it so much and I study this book. So please check it out. Please read it. It'll help you so much. And lastly, but not least, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Dan Martell, one of my mentors who's going to be a billionaire and have $1 billion company soon, he told me about this book. It's so easy to read. It's very well laid out. I love it, love it, love it. It tells you the 17 wealth files of rich people and also poor people. And so rich and poor people are all the same, but they decide to think and therefore act differently. And so I can put some of the wealth files here. I might even just share a few with you, but it just helps you think, oh, that's how a poor person thinks. Let's make sure I don't think that way. Here's how a rich person thinks. And then it gives you a couple of paragraphs or a couple of pages on how to implement that and why that is what you should do. And so I think it's super, super valuable and super helpful. And I don't know, it's less than $20. I highly recommend it. I'll definitely link it below. But before we close, I want to leave you with some of the wealth files. So for example, rich people admire other rich people and successful people. Poor people resent them. And so I see this all the time. I've seen people who live in different school districts and they're like, oh, that school, they're horrible, or they're snobs and all this stuff, just because some of them are rich. And not everyone even at that school is rich. And just because you're rich doesn't mean you're a snob or that you cheated people or this and that. And it's all from jealousy. So would you rather just be jealous and poor your whole life? Or would you rather admire them and go find the people you want to learn from? You might find a rich person who isn't nice, who isn't kind, all those things. But there's tons that are. I've found so many. Follow Jesse Itzler, follow Sarah Blakely, follow Dan Martell, even the Hormozis. Find people that resonate with you. They're out there. And if you are going to identify and if you are going to believe the lie that rich people are horrible or whatever you're going to say, you're never going to get rich. If you think they're bad, but you want to be a good person, why would you get rich? So be so careful with this. Another wealth file number 7, it is on page 95. Rich people associate with other positive and successful people, and poor people associate with negative and unsuccessful people. And so one of the biggest parts here is that it's positive. Rich people want to be around positive people, people who believe, people who are giving great ideas, people who listen, people who are motivated and who aren't just all the time down in the dumps. Like, who wants to be around someone who's negative all the time? Who wants to be around someone who is draining or not having belief? Who wants to be around that? How does that help you get higher, get wealthier, get happier? We don't have time for that. And so if you want to be a rich person, you need to start being a positive person. You need to start creating value. You need to start being in that energy and being in that belief. You've got to start now. Wealth file number 9. Rich people are bigger than their problems, while poor people are smaller than their problems. This one is so true. I see it all the time. I've seen it growing up. I've just seen it from so many people, and I've even felt this way before. How many of you get stressed out or freak out over a small problem? Small problem, and you let these small things or the accumulation of small things become this big thing. Oh my gosh, I just spilled this, or this person said this to me. It's like, really? That's going to hold you back? That's going to keep you down? That's going to get in your way? Then that's going to, like, if you can't handle big problems, you're never going to handle a big life. So you have to get better at saying, I am bigger than this. And actually, like, he walks through, this is why it's helpful. He'll tell you these things, but he walks through, like, you actually act like big. Imagine yourself being this big, giant with this teeny tiny problem, and shrink it down and just be conscious of this. At the end of the day, rich people are bigger than their problems. Be bigger. Wealth file number 10. Rich people are excellent receivers and poor people are not. And so this is really great. I love Lewis Howes's book, Make Money Easy, and it talks about some of these things that are worthiness and how we feel about money. You could also look into the psychology of money as well by Morgan Housel. But if you aren't receiving money, I've even seen that where people reject money or someone's trying to offer instead of just saying thank you and appreciating it. It's like, no, you don't pay and all this, receive. Be open to the blessings and the opportunities in your life, and you will receive more of them. There's so many more lessons in this book. It is chocked full, but it's also so easy to read. Seriously, guys, like, these books and books in general will change your life. I hope these books help. Feel free to check out more videos if you want to become better and enjoy your life. You got this. I believe in you, and I know you will be whoever you want to be and build whatever life you want to. Cheering for you.